Welcome to Preparing for the Unexpected. I'm your host, Alex Fullick. Today, I want to talk about resilience. Resilience can be defined or described as the capability to weather the storm or recover quickly from an adverse situation, not just once, but continuously building upon each success and learning from the slips, trips, traps, and falls that we often encounter. For many, that is bouncing back. For others, it's bouncing forward. They can mean the same thing depending on how you describe it. But whatever happens, you should be better positioned at the end of a situation to face the next one. That's what resilience is. You're growing. You're learning. It doesn't mean everything has to be positive. You can learn from negative mistakes. You can learn from adverse situations and be better positioned after them. Quite a bit of resilience is how you respond to events, not just with plans and processes that are in place in your organizations or your community, but how you're mentally prepared as well. Do you take a hard look in the mirror, face yourself, and determine what needs to change? Why am I responding the way I am? Why am I getting angry so easily? What's triggering me to make this such a worse situation than it really is? Resilience is a journey. It's not done at a certain point in time. It's not reached to a specific place. It's continuous throughout our life, throughout our community existence, throughout our corporate life. We continually build and grow and move forward, learning as we go. There is no certain point where you can turn around and say, I am resilient. I've reached that. Well, then what? Really, what we're saying is we're not going to grow anymore. An organization, we dealt with that situation. We are now fine. Well, that's great. You dealt with that situation. The next one could be completely different. And you're not ready to deal with that because you're basing your response on a completely different situation that came with its own impacts. And the current situation you're facing gives you completely different details that you hadn't thought of. Now you need to change the way you're responding, realizing that each situation is different and requires, to some degree, a different mindset, a different way of looking at things. That will help you on your journey of resilience. Because resilience is a journey. It's lifelong. It goes forever. We learn as we're little kids from our parents, our friends, as we grow older, our work environments, our partners. We even learn from our own kids sometimes because they're growing up in a different generation. They've got different experiences. There's new technologies, new everything. We have to change too. We have to realize that we can't focus on a specific point in time and think that that experience, that point in time, that place will address everything that comes our way. Resilience doesn't work that way. I call that self-awareness, being aware of what's around me, how I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing, and thinking logically and rationally, not just flying off the handle. Sure, there's going to be moments where we're going to flip out. That happens to everybody. Even the Dalai Lama has said that sometimes he gets angry, and you wouldn't think so. But self-awareness gives us the opportunity to take a step back and understand, why am I feeling this way? And that's what good leaders do in their organizations. What's causing our issue? What's underneath all this that we can see? We see there's a crisis, but what caused it? Take a step back and see a bigger picture and understand. You can't always control the situations that are around us or the things that we're going to experience and impact us, but we do have control over how we respond to those situations. I'm not suggesting that we look at everything as bunnies and rainbows, but I am suggesting we take a look at ourselves and really understand ourselves. Because if we are rational and think logical and understand what's causing us to flip out or our triggers that drive us crazy, then we can influence those that are around us. If we're a corporate leader, we can influence our employees to respond rationally, and we can communicate logically and rationally, calmly. If we're flipping out and we're not quite sure what's going on and we can't get a handle on ourselves, how can we get a handle on somebody else when they're flipping out? How can we calm them down when we're not calm ourselves? As I said earlier, resilience is a path. It's a journey that we experience throughout our lives. We will continue to grow. And understanding that not every time things are going to be rosy. Sometimes they will. Sometimes we'll be able to shrug off an adverse situation, even though for others, it might be something that's just terrible and horrific. But we are able to deal with it, learn from it, and grow and have a better understanding. It doesn't mean having a closed mind or closing off your heart. It means learning and growing. That influence will go to your coworkers, your friends, your family. They will learn from you. Everybody will start growing. That is true resilience. And it all starts from self-awareness. If you don't have that self-awareness and understanding, you can't create plans either for your organization or community because you don't have an understanding of resilience. You might have that tick box mentality. We just need a plan to respond to an earthquake or hurricane, a cyber attack, whatever the case may be. And yes, you do need to have those plans in place. Within those plans are processes and how people need to respond, and think, and what they need to do. But those all have to come from logical and rational thought as well, taking into account not everyone will be available. Not everyone's going to think the same. Not everyone is going to be impacted the same. And some people may not even be available to start with. That all comes from self-awareness. When that exists, you can grow from there and grow your organizations. And your plans will be more flexible and adaptable to situations. That creates resilience. That puts you on that path. That creates that journey of constantly moving forward. And you end up creating a culture not just in your community or organization, but the culture around you. The culture of your friendships improve. They're more meaningful, more understanding, and people can turn to you and know that in the worst of storms, you are that one little piece of calm who can bring everyone together. That's my thoughts on resilience. Don't let anyone tell you it's a product, and just by doing XYZ, you can have it done at the snap of a finger. It's not the way resilience works. 2,500 years of teachings by Hindus, Buddhists, and even in Christianity and Islam, all kinds of different spiritual and religious thinking. All of them have it as a lifelong journey. So don't look at resilience because a vendor, an auditor, or someone you work with just says, if we start doing XYZ, we'll be resilient. It's not the way it works. Look at yourself. That's where you start. In the meantime, stay prepared, everybody. If you liked that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave me a message and let me know your thoughts. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.